From a secret source to a global phenomenon, a humble diner in the heart of Rosettenville has grown into the renowned restaurant empire we know today. Who could have imagined that a simple invitation to share a meal with a friend would spark something so extraordinary? The irresistible taste of chicken inspired two friends to embark on a journey to delight taste buds around the world, just as they had been captivated themselves. Their rise to success was faster than they had ever anticipated. This is the story of Nandos. Nandos, famous for its chicken and peri-peri sauce, was founded in 1987 in South Africa. The founder was inspired by the African bird's eye chili, also known as peri-peri, which led to the creation of the unique sauce that would then take the world of sauces and chicken by storm. It started as a small diner during the apartheid era, but within a few years, the business experienced rapid growth. Today, Nandos has over 1,200 restaurants in 30 countries. The story of its rise is quite fascinating, so stay tuned to learn more about it. Robbie Brozin wasn't your typical entrepreneur. Born in 1959 in Middelburg, South Africa, into a Jewish Afrikaans family, he grew up in a household where business was in his blood. His grandfather had arrived from Lithuania in the early 1900s with nothing but a dream and built himself up as a trader in town. Brozin admired both his father and grandfather for their entrepreneurial spirit. Despite his humble beginnings, Brozin described his childhood as idyllic. "As far as I was concerned, life couldn't have been better," he once said. But his journey wasn't without challenges. The family moved to Johannesburg, where he attended high school at King David Linksfield before serving his mandatory 2 years in the army. After returning, he reluctantly followed his father's path, enrolling in accounting at Wits University. But academia wasn't for him. "I was a very bad student, to be honest," he admitted. "When I got to Wits, I was already 20, and I was quite anxious. We were very entrepreneurial, and I wanted to get going." Instead of burying himself in textbooks, Brozin spent more time journaling, playing cards, and goofing around than actually studying. He was failing. Realizing that accounting wasn't his calling, he switched to a BCom degree, what he described as a degree you did because you couldn't do anything else. But university wasn't a complete loss. He met his wife there. Although, as he joked, "When I asked her out, she thought I was someone else." So even that, I think, was a bit of a mistake from her side. Little did he know, his real education wasn't happening in a classroom. It was about to take place in the fast-paced world of business. After graduating from Wits in 1984, Brozin joined his father's business, Teltron, an agent for Sanyo Electronics. There, he met Fernando Duarte, a Mozambique-born colleague who would unknowingly change the course of his life. The two bonded over a shared love of good food, frequently visiting a small, unassuming Portuguese takeaway called Chickenland. The restaurant served everything from fried fish to boiled eggs, but one dish stood out: the flame-grilled chicken, doused in a fiery, rich peri-peri sauce. One day, mid-bite, Brozin had a realization. "Why don't we take this chicken to the world?" he asked. The taste was too good to stay hidden in a single Johannesburg neighborhood. With no restaurant experience, but a lot of passion, Brozin and Duarte scraped together their savings and bought a 67% stake in Chickenland. "We knew nothing about the restaurant business," Brozin admitted. "We still don't know much about the restaurant business, to be honest. You learn every day. What they did know was that success wouldn't come easy. The restaurant industry was brutal, and they had to be different, innovative, people-focused, and bold enough to take on the fast food giants. But first, they needed a name. They considered calling it Nandos, but that was already taken by a bed and breakfast in Port Elizabeth. Instead, they went with something personal. Nandos, after Duarte's son. In 1987, the first official Nando's restaurant opened in Rosettenville, Johannesburg. The dream was now a reality. From the very beginning, Brozin and Duarte had one goal in mind: global domination. But as young entrepreneurs, they weren't exactly experts in expansion strategy. "We were a bit stupid about it," Brozin later admitted. "We felt the world hadn't really experienced peri-peri chicken." At just 3 stores in South Africa, they were already thinking internationally. But to go global, they needed serious backing. Enter Richard Dick Enthoven, a South African businessman with a keen eye for opportunity. A self-made entrepreneur who would later become a billionaire, Enthoven was blown away by Nando's flame-grilled chicken and saw its massive potential. In 1992, he agreed to bankroll Nando's expansion into the UK, and his family took a majority stake in the international business. But scaling wasn't easy. "I didn't realize how hard it was going to be," Brozin confessed. "If we hadn't partnered with the Enthoven family when we did, I wouldn't be here today." Enthoven became more than just a financial backer. He was a mentor. Brozin credits both his father and Enthoven for shaping his business mindset. "My father taught me about cost, but Enthoven taught me about value," he reflected. Cost and value are 2 very different influences. It's different ways of looking at your business and different ways of looking at your life. This mindset helped shape not just Brozin but also Nando's, as the brand took on the world.
Nando's truly began to take off in 2010. It was featured in the Advertising Age magazine as one of the world's top 30 hottest marketing brands alongside MTN, Tata Nano, and Natura. It became so huge in the UK that The Guardian wrote that Nando's had changed the face of British fast food. Nando's reached a huge milestone as it opened its 1,000th store worldwide after that. Their quality didn't go unnoticed though, as Indeed had named Nando's the UK's 6th best private sector employer. This showed its dedication to staff satisfaction and development. The focus on their staff and customers made them unique in the competitive fast food world. Nando's struggled with the cultural differences between the countries they were operating in. They even had to adjust their taste to the preferences of the people. There was a time when they had to temporarily close 40 UK outlets as they were struggling with staff shortages. When customers asked why their local Nando's had shut down, Nando's replied on Twitter by saying, "The UK is currently having a bit of a nightmare right now. This is having a bit of a knock-on effect with some of our restaurants across England, Scotland, and Wales." Those weren't the only struggles they endured. Nando's had challenges with managing their retail outlets as business was booming. The thing is, the Nando's in South Africa used Excel as a way to manage their lease data. And as great as the tool is, it has its parts where it lacks. When the head of Nando's South Africa visited Nando's Australia, he loved how well Nando's Australia managed its portfolio and had South Africa use the same system too. Nando's had a lot of problems with their management processes, so when a solution to their problem came to be, they jumped at it with both hands. As new as the product was to the South African market, Convincing the stakeholders hadn't been challenging at all. It was one of the easiest pitches we've had in a long time. Everyone knew what we needed, and agreed MRI had the perfect solution, Sibum Konza stated. During the looting in KwaZulu-Natal, Nando's restaurants faced destruction, but their worst hit was Nando's Pinecrest in Pinetown. Let's not forget about the competition, especially in the spicy chicken market. Nando's has had a battle with Pedro's, and Pedro's is a lot cheaper than Nando's. And not only do the restaurants look alike, but it grew at a faster rate than Nando's. The CEO of Nando's South Africa said, "While Pedro's may attempt to resemble us, they certainly aren't the only ones." He then further stated that they have actually had their highest ever sales and a record number of restaurants in South Africa that year. When Brozen was asked what led to the restaurant's success, he had 3 things to share. When we started out, we had no money, but we had a lot of fun. By doing it for the right things, money comes to you, he stated. Another thing was the advertising, which made them a commentary brand in South Africa and changed the ways in which people thought of chicken. Nando's wasn't just about chicken alone though. There was rebellion, audacity, and an unapologetic celebration to bold flavors, cheeky marketing and humor. We'll get more into the ads later. Brozen made it clear that they wanted to change lives, being part of a solution and not being a part of a problem. Nando's talks a lot about its happy staff and customer service, but in truth, it's the peri-peri sauce that's the selling point. Nando's sells their sauces at supermarkets as well as their crisps, and that alone makes them a lot of money than they already make from everything else. Nando's is currently known to be making a whopping 1.37 billion British pounds. Nando's has received praise from celebrities like Adele, which has significantly boosted the company's visibility and reach.
In every street corner in London, so tonight I had a feast, and band and crew, you'll be happy to know I've had a mass order for you for after the show to enjoy some peri-peri. Very exciting.
We all know how much influence celebrities have, especially someone like Adele. The company even acknowledged Adele's praise by saying, "Rumor has it, Adele gave us a shout out last night. We're still glowing. Thank you. Say hello anytime." Nando's prioritizes content, especially on their social media pages. Another thing that makes them so great is that Nando's is available to all classes. It isn't just fixated on one, which makes more people want to go eat there. You can eat your chicken with your friends, and it's not too bougie. Even though you get posh people in Nando's, it doesn't outlaw any social classes, Chipmunk said in an interview. In the 2000s, Nando's launched an advertising campaign that capitalized on political controversy on the mandatory detention of refugees. This campaign was about detainees who were participating in a hunger strike, with some even sewing their lips together. Nando responded in the ad by humorously suggesting they would unsew their lips in light of a promotion where customers could receive an extra quarter chicken free with the purchase of a quarter chicken combo. The purpose of the ad was to provoke a reaction, and Melbourne's Sphere Advertising noted, "There's a section of our audience that's going to be uncomfortable, but we want to evoke a response." Nando's then once again released an advert that mocked the African National Congress Youth League and then Julius Malema using a puppet that resembled him. Malema sued the restaurant company, and the original advert was removed. Nando's did not give up, because an altered version was later released featuring a pixelated version of the puppet and a modified voice. The original puppet in the ad was eventually sold for 100,000 Rand, with the proceeds donated to an educational charity. After that, Nandos created a controversial Lost Dictators advert in South Africa, which depicted Robert Mugabe eating alone on Christmas in his mansion. The ad showed him reminiscing about past times spent with other dictators. We saw him playing water tag with Muammar Gaddafi, singing karaoke with Mao Zedong, and playing in the snow with Saddam Hussein. It also depicted him pushing P.W. Botha on a swing and riding a Covenanter cruiser tank with Idi Amin, likening their moment to the scene from Titanic. Musekiwa Gumbula, the holder of Nando's franchise in Zimbabwe, expressed strong objection to the advertisement, stating that it was insensitive and in poor taste. It was noted that the situation offended not only them, but also Chipangano, a Zimbabwean youth militia loyal to Mugabe. He demanded an apology from Nando's and threatened to boycott the South African-based chain and insisted that the advertisement be withdrawn. Nando's has something special about their branding. Their logo is authentic, Portuguese-inspired, and it represents its love for chicken. You could walk into Nando's without even seeing the logo and know it's Nando's. When asked the reason for their fonts being angled the way they are, Nando says, Nando's fonts takes its vision from traditional South African sign writing, whilst giving us a font for our future. You'll usually see it in our headlines, which are always titled at an 87-degree angle. This angle honors the year Nando's started, reminds us of our humble beginnings and how we'll always strive to be our best. The only way is up. The inside of the restaurant has its unique identity. The colors and the artwork give it away. Nando's expresses its South African and Portuguese roots very well. A few things we can learn from them about building brand identity is to create a system of designs that can be used to identify your identity. Apply the system of designs to your business assets and use those assets. The story of Nando's is filled with inspiration, lessons, and cultural identity. They began with a simple yet powerful idea to share the unique flavor of peri-peri chicken with the world. And now, it's the big brand we know as Nando's. The success of Nando's really lies in its roots. The African bird's eye chili, known as peri-peri, became the foundation for the sauce that would turn something so small into something so big. Fernando Duarte inviting his friend Robbie Brosen to Chickenland was a life-altering decision. Nando's had its challenges, but its unique approach to everything set it apart. The advertising strategies of Nando's played a huge role expanding its reach. The humorous and provocative campaigns to clever wordplay, Nando's sparked conversation and got the attention it needed from the public. Another key element of Nando's success is its easy access to anyone and everywhere. So, next time you bite into that spicy, flame-grilled chicken, remember, you're not just eating food. You're tasting the result of bold decisions, relentless passion, and a whole lot of peri-peri magic. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments. What's your go-to Nando's order? See you in the next video.